All right, Pops, we're rolling. We are on the eve of your last trip around the sun as a 70-something-year-old. And I thought we could do, and it's also the last night we are here in Pune, doing what we do every trip around this time of the evening. It's like 7 o'clock in the evening on the 24th of October. And we are being interrupted with a papad service, having been supplied with, you know, Ardbeg to keep us going. Dad, I thought we'd have this conversation not for you and me, but somewhat for Nyla and Naina. I remember, and I miss Dada's voice. I was a lot older when he passed, but it's nice to be able to record your voice, and more than your voice, your thoughts. And in today's day and age, God knows what they can do with technology to sort of make how you think and who you are or were, sort of bring it to life for future generations. So this is really for Nyla and Naina, partly, and potentially even for their kids, my grandkids. So I thought we'd start, just follow the the journey map of your life. You obviously were born in Lahore to Dada, who was in the army, and Ami, sort of sparkling, very progressive lawyer's daughter from Peshawar. Speaking of progressive daughters, we're getting interrupted by my wife. But yeah, so I think your earliest memory, Dad, would be as a boy in London. You guys moved there, right?
No, my earliest memories were, well, in Roberts Road in Pune.
Yeah.
We were in number 8 Roberts Road.
Where?
Daily.
Okay. This was before you guys when Dada got
That's right.
posted to London. So this is after partition had happened. You guys had, gotten on one of those gun trains that got you across the border in the middle of the day or night, and you left bag and baggage and moved to Delhi. Dada joined the Indian Army, and then
That was in the Indian.
well, the British Indian Army, yeah, but it got partitioned, right? So speaking of Dada, talk to us a little bit about your dad. What kind of a man was he? The military was a big part of his life, but what kind of what was he? Kind of a dad was he as a young boy?
What? He was a lovely guy, and he loved taking us out.
What do you mean by out?
Out of the house, not on
John's.
and shooting.
Yeah.
Shooting. So that was great fun also. And he used to also take us to all the places where he took you and Alika also.
Yeah, all the historical stuff.
So we saw that. He was a bright guy, but he didn't have too much of a sense of humor.
Yeah, that's something you've had. We'll come back to that in a second. Ami, your mom she didn't have a sense of humor either, right? Or was she?
No.
She had a sense of irony. What was she like growing up?
She had a problem of hearing.
Always. Okay.
And that was a hindrance. But she was a very, very strong lady.
Yeah. Both physically and mentally.
That's right. And she was more dad and mom rolled into one. The dad was very busy with his
work.
And he enjoyed work so much that, he didn't have that much time for us.
So what did she like? You can understand, what was the dad role she played for you?
Well, she said tennis. I used to play tennis.
Yeah.
And so we started laughing. He said, how can you play tennis?
Yeah.
So she said, okay, we go to the Gymkhana Club and I'll show you. And sure enough, there was Vicky and myself. We went to the Gymkhana and she proceeded to thrash the life out of us.
So she did that later again to a younger version of me and Alika. I remember her in the Agra, in that hotel in Agra, rolled up her churidar and sort of like just proceeded to. I think she was a lot older then. She wasn't able to whip us, but she certainly held her own. What do you think? You, what do you think she could, like today, in today's day and age, you've got lots of granddaughters who are growing up as sort of strong women, and you've grown up with a bunch of them. How do you think she would have fared in today's world? Do you think she'd have had a different career path or life path, given she came from money, reasonable amount of wealth, she's very wealthy, very progressively brought up, for Peshawar or anywhere.
Yeah.
What do you think if she was born today, 20 years ago? What do you think? It would have been very different, wouldn't it?
Yes, she didn't have to be subservient at all, and that she'd come from those days
Yeah.
when girls kept quiet, and yeah, she was um, she was very forthcoming and very, very, very friendly with all our friends and people, anyone coming to them.
Yeah.
So she was, and she did have a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
If she could hear it properly.
Let's talk a little bit about school. School came quite early. You guys went to Doon 10 or 11, right?
That was 11.
11. That's quite a young age. I mean, it's pretty standard for boarding school, but it's quite a young age to sort of become independent. Talk us through a little bit about Doon, your formative years of Doon, and then we can talk about your leadership journey there. But what was Doon like as a sort of like a 11-year-old as opposed to later as a 16?
At the 11-year-old, I made friends pretty quickly, and they're still friends.
Yeah, amazing. Was it hard? Was there any part of that was hard?
Nothing was hard.
Yeah.
Nothing was hard. It was lovely, disciplined life. And when I say disciplined, because you had to be neat and tidy.
Yeah.
Make your own bed and keep your clothes and shoes and everything straight.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, you got
admonished for it.
Admonished by the monitors.
Yeah.
Prefects admonished.
Yeah. To inspect. Did you get into trouble often, or you were pretty?
No, I did not.
Interesting. Was it? You think that was your nature, not to get into trouble, or you found it easy to follow the rules?
I found it easy to follow the rules. Yes, and I was quite disciplined in the mind.
And then you fast forward to your, senior Cambridge or years. Everybody remembers you as an incredibly accomplished sportsman. There wasn't a ball, bat, racket, field thing you could not do. And you did everything. And you ended up becoming a leader, your house captain, school captain, quite a few, right?
Captain of cricket and that.
So how did that leadership come to you? Like, how did that, was it because your father was in the armed forces? Or how do you think how did you discover this ability to lead people?
Lead people had when the discipline was from father.
Yeah.
And he didn't suffer fools gladly.
Yeah.
He was very immersed in his own work.
Yeah.
He'd come back and he'd have files and he'd be sitting up there and having a drink, going through the files and morning and the next day's work. So, that's what kept him
going. No, but how did you become a leader? Like, what made you, like, it felt very organic.
Yeah, it was.
Or let me ask you a different. Was there a teacher, a coach, somebody who sort of really was formative at your time at Duke?
Not at all.
Really?
Not at all. No. There was nobody who did that.
Nobody who took you under your wing and their wing and just sort of cultivated you?
No.
Who did you look up to?
I looked up to very few people because I had a brother who was there a couple of years, 2-3 years, my senior. And in fact, I think what drove me was to beat my brother.
In whatever he did.
whatever he did. He was also good.
Yeah. He was also school house captain, right?
No, I think maybe Rajiv was,
Yeah.
but not him.
So you were driven by sibling rivalry at an early age.
Well, yes, we always had that kind of rivalry.
Was it initially one way or was it always two ways?
It became two ways. It became two ways.
Yeah, we know later on in life, of course,
Yeah.
in a big way. But back then,
No, it was it,
yeah, you were like the whippersnapper who was
no, I was
Right.
trying to
maneuver.
get was position,
Was that to impress your parents?
not at all.
Then who was it for? Yourself?
It was so
And then post school, what made you choose the whole NDA path? You enrolled in the National Defense Academy here in Pune. Your brother, obviously, was it that sibling rivalry that rolled over to like wanting to do that as well?
not really. That was more dad's background.
Yeah.
The dad was in the forces.
It's a little bit like me trying to be an accountant and realizing it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I think it was self taught, that kind of discipline and the competition. And I was competing with myself.
In terms of to do the NDA route.
Yeah, no, in the NDA round, I wasn't doing too well academically.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be nice to get into the forces and
you'd
live
see
a
that.
life
Yeah.
like I'm used to.
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
So tell us why.
In the first term, which I was there when 1964 January,
Yeah.
I got to Pune
Yeah.
and I became a cadet in India Squadron.
Yeah.
I continued my sports laurels. I was in the cricket team
Yeah.
of the whole academy.
Yeah.
And in the first term, there was a little unheard of
Yeah.
discipline in the
NDA.
which I resented quite a bit.
You dealt with discipline really well, as you said, as an 11-year-old. What was different about this?
Well, this is at 17 or 16. It was all different, right? When other people are telling you what to do,
Yeah.
and mine was self generated, that kind of this. And I resented it.
Yeah.
I also saw a bunch of people who had come from, lower middle class and us being middle class people. I also sort of objected to being kicked around. No one tried. And that was that.
Do you think you were a little bit, were you a little bit, cocky or a little over proud of yourself at that stage? I mean, in your life, you haven't been accused of that very often, but was that a particular phase you'd had a great run and you had a chip on your shoulder at that stage?
Possibly a little bit of a chip on the shoulder. I don't. I think I resented it. In fact, I don't think I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that kind of discipline. And I also didn't like the way the academy was run. We weren't taught anything about the army or navy or the air force. We just, go there and go to your books and study.
Cram.
Cram.
Do you think if you had joined the forces when your dad had, you would have had a different experience and you would have stuck on?
My dad had it.
But yeah, I mean, he was commissioned, King's Commission, went to the UK, right? Do you think you would have fared differently in that situation?
I think so. Sure.
That led to, just to fast forward through a sort of what was probably quite a tumultuous period. Dad was a serving general in the army.
He wasn't a serving.
He had retired.
He had retired.
So, but he still had to bail you out of NDA. Or you had to sort of like pay or.
Sure.
Was that an awkward? Was that awkward?
I felt awkward about it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like him paying and money for me to opt out
Yeah.
of something which I had selected.
How did he react to that?
He was very good. Surprisingly, he came to the NDA
Yeah.
and he said, Baba, come and bring your books and things like that and talk to me. And we went up the hill in the car and he stopped and he said, okay, come now, tell me what is. And I showed him my books and this and that. And he said, oh, this is difficult. So I said, yes, I have to think. And he understood. He understood my
point. And what you just communicated that you are withdrawing from the academy.
I would like to, yeah. So he was going to meet the commandant.
Yeah.
Who was a friend of his, General Bakshi.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was going to see him and get my
sort of dismissal or whatever.
Withdrawal.
Yeah. And then how did you end up, fast forward from there, you found yourself.
I came to Delhi.
Yeah.
I came to Delhi.
Yeah.
So, you see,
You got into Shri Ram with your,
yes.
with an interest. Your grades didn't get you in there, your legs did.
That's right.
Why don't you tell us the story about that?
Well, I wanted to get into college and Dad said, okay, what do you want to do? I said, economics. And he said, okay, we'll try Shri Ram College. And Shri Ram College is the one, Mr. Goel. And he said, come and see me tomorrow and wear your fleets.
Yeah.
I didn't know what bloody fleets were. But the fleet, apparently, BT shoes.
Yeah.
So I did that and I went with Dad and he said, what do you do? So I said, I jump. So he said, okay, will you show me how? And he was standing at a place.
Yeah.
And I jumped about 2 times further than.
While you were warming up.
And he said, ye to college ka record hai. So he said,
You're in.
you're in. What do you want? He said, sure.
Hmm.
And so that was painless. I didn't do any damage to the family
Fortune.
fortune.
Oh.
Got in. Did well in sports there even.
You play for Shri Ram?
Athletics and tennis, things like that.
And you finished your, what was 3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
It did well. And then my dad said, the next move, what is the next move?
Yeah.
So I said, well, people are talking about CA, Chartered Accountancy. So he said, okay. And he rang up his friend, Mr. Chopra, and he said that Ajit wants to see you and talk to you. So we went the next day to chat with Mr. Chopra, and he said, fine, you ought to do your CA.
Yeah.
I said, yes. I said, but I've got a few questions. Is there any mathematics in that?
Yeah.
So he said, no, dear boy, a couple of equations here and there.
Nyla's scripted. So you're saying you struggled with maths through your schooling?
Yeah, always.
See, it's hereditary. But you still went and you did your chartered accountancy and
Yeah.
cool. What was London like it must be in the 60s, right? So I remember you telling me a story. I think it'd be a great one for Nyla and Naina and others to remember you by is, I remember you telling me about how it was one of the first times you were there and you were meeting all of these guys. I think Philip, was he one of the sports people that you played and that you got golf in, and you were at a pub after a cricket match or a football match and they asked you what your name was. This is something I always remember. And they said, and you said, my name's Ajit. And they said, would like to call you Pete or something like that. And you said to them, that's fine as long as I can call you Mary.
Absolutely. Never had any trouble out there.
But that sense of humor of yours, coming back to that thing at the beginning, where did you get that from? Is that organic?
It's still organic. I don't think I inherited it from anybody.
Yeah.
As I told you, my mother had some kind of humor.
Yeah.
And
Your dad certainly did.
Dad didn't have time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the good news is that it's passed on to your granddaughter sitting here. It was quite ironic and gets sarcasm very, very well. So I'm going to try and do something really complicated. I'm going to try and make a Shirley temple for Nyla while I continue to have this conversation.
Yeah, I know that.
Because that's what we do. Trying to stay out of the video. So and then you were doing your chart accountancy. How did that go? Like so tell us about London in the 60s. What was like, that was the roaring 60s, was it easy, hard, fun, difficult?
It was fun. I'm enjoying that. It was fun. I enjoyed London. Beautiful place. And, made a lot of friends.
From all over, right? It wasn't just India. What was it? I mean, was the program hard? You said academics was never your strong suit. Was that?
It wasn't, but I quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think contributed to that?
Well, I met your mother. And yeah.
So actually, let's go there then. You met Mom on one of your trips back home, right?
I met her earlier on one trip, and then on one of my trips back,
Yeah.
I decided that I'd like to marry her.
Like straight out, like you knew the minute you met her, or you got to know each other over time?
No, I was smitten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was what was it about Mom that got you smitten?
Well, she was so jovial.
Yeah.
And she was game for going on motorcycles.
Was she?
Not driving, but I
Who did you ride? Yeah. She had a spirit of adventure.
Yeah.
What else?
And she was a cousin of a
Very good friend. Yeah. That's how you met, right?
that.
And so then you guys decided to get married. You hadn't finished your CA, but you were
No. Yeah.
What was the hurry? Or you had just decided you wanted? Actually, before that, she tells a story, and I'll get her side of this. She tells a story where you outsourced proposing to her to your friend Arvind. Is there any truth in that?
Arvind herself, a messenger.
Yeah. Who proposed to Mom? You or Arvind uncle on your behalf?
No. Right.
Is it true that you said you cracked a joke when you proposed to Mom about needing somebody to cook and clean and look after your children or something like that?
I needed an ADC, an ayah, dhobi, and a cook.
That's your proposal. And was she pissed off?
No.
Huh?
No.
She took it in good humor.
Yeah.
So Arvind uncle, contrary to a more serious mom now, Arvind uncle didn't have to go and placate her and explain that you were only kidding about the ADC.
No.
Unbeknownst to you, you would be the ayah, dhobi, and cook. And so you guys began your life in London. From talking to both of you, was that the happiest phase of your life you've been? Like, as what were the ingredients of that? You were clearly the brokest you'd been in your life, the poorest you'd been.
Sure. No, I had money, but I didn't spend it of my father's money.
Okay, I didn't know that. He had given you some.
Yeah, he had.
Yeah.
Which a lot of other people used to borrow and repay me later on. And,
yeah.
But I didn't spend it on myself. That way I was careful.
Yeah.
I lived within my means. And didn't cry out for any, not a single thing. And I think that was a kickoff from NDA and leaving and,
Yeah. You didn't want to owe anybody anything more.
Yeah.
I get you. And you guys were the only married couple for a while, surrounded by all your bachelor friends, Mohan uncle.
Yes, my God.
Your house, to tell us about what your house felt like back then. Where was it, Ealing? Or before that?
It was me. And that was the first house. It was Ashi's friends. Ashi was living there.
Right. And before her Gita Masi. Okay. So Ashi was living there and you took over her rent. She and Igloo sort of lived there or just her?
No, not Igloo. Igloo was
in the picture there. Okay. So she gave up her place and then you took over that.
That's right.
So that's interesting. So your old tennis partner from
15 Deltree Road.
15 Deltree Road. Now, what was 15 Deltree Road like if you were to describe it to your great grandchildren?
I think flat.
Yeah.
You couldn't swing a cat in it.
Yeah.
And I had my bride's possession of a music system which I brought with me.
Yeah. From India?
No. It happened.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah.
And
And there was no IKEA, so you had to use bricks and slabs of wood for shelves and things like that. Oh, was that even back then?
And no, we did well. We did also. I did a lot of various things for clothes and stuff to be put in and out and all that.
But when you say those were your happiest days, what was it about that, the redux of it that made it such? Was it being carefree?
Oh, just being carefree and very fortunately we had an old uncle.
Yeah, Uncle Prem.
Uncle Prem. Well, he was my uncle.
He was fond of you.
He enjoyed my company and my banter, and he was a lovely man. And one day we were out for a meal set, and I parked my car down there. And when I went in there, it was the very old Morris.
And you used to pick him up.
Sure. And when I went to start the car, it wouldn't start. And there were some rugger brothers who were coming out of the pub at that time. I said, I might want to push. I said, thanks.
Yeah.
Uncle was very
embarrassed.
He said, come and see me.
Yeah.
He said, what car do you have? I said, it's a Morris.
Yeah.
And so he said, how much would you get for selling it? So he said, okay.
How much did the new one cost?
New one cost
Yeah.
1,100, 1,200. So he says, okay. He wrote out a check by taking out the 100.
Yeah.
And gave it to me. He said, go buy a new car. The next day, that was.
Wow. Yeah. How did Mom react to that? Was she happy about it, or was she like, oh my gosh?
Of course.
And then you went and bought the yellow Renault, was it?
VUV 758. And we never looked back.
You bought a brand new Renault.
That's right.
What made you pick a Renault?
I liked the idea of having the gears on the dashboard.
Yeah, as opposed to a stick.
That's right. No, that's it.
Is that because you'd driven a Fiat or whatever that the cars in India were like that as well?
That's right. But not on the deck.
Yeah.
They were on the floor.
Oh, were they even? Okay.
Yeah.
So it felt very modern to have it on the dashboard.
Yeah. Very nice and very positive.
Yeah.
So
was Uncle the first person? Uncle Prem the first person you took for a ride in it?
Could have been.
That's very nice.
A very nice man.
And then you made this decision. Then I arrived.
Sure, you arrived.
5 years late into your marriage, you guys had me. Was that a conscious decision or? Yeah.
Very conscious decision. In fact, your mother said, we were going home for a holiday.
Yeah.
And she said that if I'm not pregnant, I'm going to tell her that the machinery doesn't work.
That's a pretty aggressive target.
So she didn't want to take the blame because she always.
Everybody was putting on the heat on you because you were sort of 5 years in and no baby.
No.
And were you pregnant by the time you landed in
Yes.
India?
Yeah, no. She was pregnant before we came.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But then you didn't go back to India till I was pregnant.
No,
She was pregnant. Okay. So,
go back.
so the first time you went back to India after getting married was with me.
No, I went back earlier. I met Simbi again.
No, but after you got married and you were in.
After we got married.
Yeah.
No, we went.
You went often.
Not often.
Like once every 2 years.
2-3 years.
Okay. And then I was born there. What did that feel like being a dad for the first time?
Lovely. Very nice indeed. And you were a lovely boy, and we enjoyed having you. And
That I used to say
our
that very
mothers-
touching things that were hot.
Yeah, all our mothers came, so
Yeah.
and spent time. And
Did that change you as becoming a father?
sure, it's a responsibility added on, and I had to grow into that
Role.
role, which I did. I enjoyed it, and then eventually, Mum was feeling very hemmed in
Yeah.
in London
Yeah.
because she was stuck with you and as a baby, and she couldn't do things with her friends in the flat. So she was a bit
Down.
down. And
Back it in.
by then, of course, I was with Dunlop.
Yeah.
And I'm doing quite well. And I became the manager of that company,
Yeah.
even though it was a small little company.
Yeah. What was it called?
Dunlop Plantations.
This is the job you took over from Bob.
That's right.
There's a fascinating story you told us about Bob's PA or secretary who, what was her name?
Her name was, I think, Helen.
Helen. Helen didn't like you very much.
No, because Helen was from the British and the army days in India and this and that.
And you jumped up.
Yeah.
But Bob didn't see that. He promoted you.
No, Bob didn't. And to date, he is
Dear friend.
a dear friend.
And then you became the manager and Helen handed in her resignation.
Yes. Well, she was going in any case.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got a
Did you feel like, 60s was pretty rough. Like, how did you deal with racism? I know we talked about the whole Pete, the humor and all of that. Did you feel it in the workplace? And
not really. I didn't feel it at the workplace, but I think it was with the other partners.
you were fortunate to have somebody like Bob championing you and partners as in law firm or marital. Yeah. So do you think you just got lucky with the partner that you had at your...
No, with the other partners, because they all had jobs to do.
Yeah.
I never went on a job for the other partner.
You only did it
I
for the
only
one.
did-
Who was your partner?
Mr. Holloway.
Where was he from?
He was
But he was what, a fairly progressive guy?
very, and he was an MC, military cross,
Oh, wow.
and he was a smart.
This is Pete Morley.
Sorry? No, not Peter.
Then?
Holloway and
Arden company.
yeah.
Didn't they get acquired by... What was the Pete Morley?
Temple got that.
Okay.
They got acquired by that. I also went.
And you've left, you always worked for Holloway and then went to Dunlop's?
That's right.
So you got lucky in some respects. You met Holloway, you met Bob at Dunlop's.
I had a friend who was working in that position in Dunlop.
Okay. Who's that?
Babu.
And he moved on.
Babu.
So Babu uncle used to work for Bob. And so he recommended you.
That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
But then mum, so just back to me and mum and you.
I had to go to Malaysia a few times.
Yeah. And via Singapore, where we now live.
Very much so.
Yeah.
We drove down to Singapore.
Who you and
Mr. Carter.
Nice. And so what made you'd lived in London for 11 years and some change at that
11
stage. Mum had been there for 7.
Yeah.
And everybody and their uncle was trying to get out of India, you know, it had just come out of emergency to the West, and you did something the opposite. So, like, what was the calculus behind you and mum deciding to pack it in? You know, obviously, mum was feeling hemmed in, as you said. But what was the calculus behind you?
It was pure love for the country.
Say more.
I love my country.
Yeah.
And I was going to come there and I wanted to go back and work in my country.
Yeah.
I didn't want to work in London and be a this. And I will tell you a little bit. When I was doing Bob's job as the manager of the plantations and reporting to a director or director,
Yeah.
there was a planters party. And in that party, they used to call all the involved with the plantation.
Yeah.
And they didn't call me, they called my junior.
Because he was white.
Yes, Ray Jones.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah, Ray was also a great friend.
yeah.
And Ray came to me and he said, something's absolutely wrong. You should be going to this.
You didn't get invited to the planters party.
I didn't get invited.
And Ray got invited.
Ray got invited. I said, Ray, you go.
Yeah.
You know, but that just strengthened my
Resolve.
resolve to come back to my home. I'd be treated like that for color.
Yeah.
For other reasons, maybe.
Yeah. The color of your skin.
Color of my skin.
And so you decided to pack it in and move.
I decided to